Hello, coders. Good afternoon. Sorry, I'm a bit late. I was backing up. I was backing up my computer, so and it was taking a little bit longer than I thought. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with the code quiz, and I made some progress this morning on the markdown side of it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Just going to be working through that. Bear with me a second whilst I set things up. Yes, so I made some progress this morning, very early, where I was creating. That's the wrong thing. That's what I need. Where I was creating the way in which, or the mechanism for extracting the HTML from the markdown using DOM document, and then creating their own sort of node sections for the various parts of the markdown document. I'll discuss more in a second. Just bear with me whilst I wire this up. So to code well. I'm just yeah, so this is it's going to be a heavy PHP day today, I think. I'll show you. This is it. This is the pull request that I was working on this morning. It's far from being finished. Far from being finished. So right, so now that's been sent out, I can show you. So what we've got here is oh, have I just killed that tab? I have. Ugh, sorry. Sorry, I've gone and killed the Twitch dashboard. I kind of needed that window open. Here we go. Right. Okay, so what we have here is the changes to composer.json. We have I've removed Symfony YAML because I'm not using that anymore. Oh no, I haven't removed Symfony YAML. What am I doing? I've added libxml. There we go. I've added parse down, and I've added extension of or the DOM extensions. Excuse me. This is the one of the quizzes that we're going to be, this markdown file. Actually, that's another one as well. These are all markdown files. Changes to the PHP stuff, the fixtures here. Don't worry about that too much. The meat and gravy of it all, though, is this stuff. This is what I was doing this morning. So what we do is we pass in, we instantiate this question parser. It probably needs to be named differently, because it actually does an extraction. And what we do is we instantiate that with a document being a piece of HTML, and then what we run extract. So it loads the HTML. I've had to use this fancy little thing here to ignore the warnings and errors, because there's some HTML5 stuff that I want to use that the DOM document doesn't support, which sucks. So I've had to ignore internal errors like that, and that I just used that for debugging. But this is the interesting part. So once you've got the document, you run process on it, and it essentially loops over the child nodes. So if you forget about all of this stuff for a minute, it's looping over the child nodes, and then it checks if there is any more child nodes, and then it processes itself. So it's constantly processing. So it's looping over this in a sort of a recursive manner. So it's called process. It loops over the child nodes, and then if there is any more child nodes, it then processes that node, right? So it can go deep into the structure of the HTML. And what we're doing is we're checking for things that exist. So, for example, this one, we're checking whether the node name is H2 and the node value is possible answers. If that is the case, then we've got possible answers. If we are looking for a node name of details and that becomes true, then we found the correct answer. If to get the question out, we want to make sure that we haven't found the possible answers and we haven't found the correct answer, and therefore anything left in the document is a question. So we start building that up. Anything left that isn't the body or the HTML, and then here we are checking if there are found answers, and if there isn't a correct answer, then it is the possible answers, and then if we've got the correct answer, then that goes in there. I mean, I haven't really explained this very well, but you'll be able to see as it goes through. And then I've got some getters here to get those bits and pieces out. So I think it's probably best if I just bring this code down, right? So if I was to load up PHP Storm and then just show you what I mean. What I want to do today, because I did this at crazy time. I did this at like 6:30 in the morning this morning. This sort of little routine here. So I am yet to fully test it. I'm yet to just iron out any wrinkles. That's what I want to be doing today on today's stream. So I'm just loading this up. Which project is this? This is the previous ticket that we're working on. So I need to stash those changes or commit those changes as a work in progress. Let's do a git status just to see where we're at. Yeah, okay. We'll do a git commit -am, and we will just do a 162 WIP for that for a minute, and we'll do a git push on that for a sec just to get that up. It's just something else I'm working on. That was the Docker stuff. What I want to do today, I want to do a git checkout of whatever the branch is of this, 157 markdown parser. There we go. Let's just grab that and the one. You're gonna give me the one there. There we go. Right, so git checkout of you. I probably need to do a git fetch, right? No, it's done. Right, let's do a git pull to bring in those changes. Right. So, yes, because last week we were dealing with Docker stuff. I'm not phased by that at the minute. That's something that I'll put on the back burner. So, in the API, in our tests, in our unit, in our SRC, in our markdown, in our parser, we have our question parser test. And what we have here, this is going to be very awkward because the stream here is very small. I might have to do this in a terminal somewhere off stream and bring it in when I do it. But anyway, what we've got here is a unit test where we have our document. This is the document that we're trying to extract information out of. So imagine this is coming from Markdown. So imagine this Markdown. This is a Markdown file, and we've just used parse down to pull this out, right? Okay. So we end up with this HTML document, right? And what we do is, so I've assigned that to a string, the private variable string, private property string for this class. So what we're doing is we're saying for this, we want to test that we have a heading value, and we want to test that the heading value is this is a question. This will be this up here. This is a question. So we want to make sure that we have that. So what we do is we run extract on this, and we run get question nodes. So get question nodes will return many nodes up to the point in which we get the possible answer. So what will happen is the extraction routine will go, okay, that's a node, that's a node, that is a node, that is also a node. So the code is a node within pre. That's a node. Then again, the code is a node within pre, and then that's a node, and then it'll go. I'm also looking for node values that have the text possible answer and the node name of H2. So if I go back to if I load up extract here and go into process, what it's doing is it's saying, right, we got the node name of H2 and the node value of possible answers, and therefore we found the possible answers. So on this routine, so that will then be flicked. That switch will be flicked to true, and then it will go, okay, so fine. We'll continue on down. So now we're in possible answers. So we've got this. That is a node, then that's 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 a node. Okay, cool. And then we've got this point here. We've got node name. Node name is details. That is this here. So that's the node name, the element name here, and it's details. So we're saying, okay, we've now found the correct answer. So that's now true. So at this point, we have found possible answers as true and found correct answers as true. So anything that isn't in this is the question. So this is why we say to get the question, we found possible answers must be false, right? And found correct answers must be false. Because anything else that isn't here in this recursive loop is is something else. We then check again for things like the body and the HTML, and then we assign the question array to the node. So if I was to print this out, like if I was to say var dump question nodes, and then do a die here, and then in here, if we did a docker, I don't know what's running and what's not. Let's do well, let's kill it and bring it back up again. I think can I do this from we got the Docker file here. Where am I? We're in the website, that's why. So can we do it from here? Yes, we can. So docker compose -f down, and I'll just do a RMI is equal to all. I'm going to just tear them down and bring them back up again. Hang on. Docker compose down minus RMI all. There we go. So I'm just going to kill it. I'm just going to remove all the things, and then I'm just going to bring them back up again. There we go. And then I'll get into the container, and then what I'll do is I'll run the container, and I'll run the PHP unit, and we should get a var dump. And what I'm hoping is that we'll get all the nodes up to the point where it gets to the possible answer. So we should have a node for each one of these, as well as a node for their individual bits and pieces as well. I do hope. So we'll just wait for that to go. I'll just get some more of my tea. I don't know if you can hear my NAS in the background. It's making a hell of a noise. Okay, what's going on? Failed to solve the RPC code. What's all this? Load metadata. Nginx next. Oh dear. Something's gone bang. Let's just see if that runs again. I don't know what's going on here. That seems better. It might be a blip. And what I managed to do this morning is I also had another test to check if I was to go back to here. So where we got test question heading value, we've also got test question heading element to make sure that that is actually a H1. But also we've got last question element. So this is ensuring that the last element is a code, and the last question value is this, because if you see, if we come back to here, we got the last question value should be that. In fact, I should probably change that so they're slightly different. So that says like hello world 1 and hello world 2 type thing. And the reason why that is the last element code is because that's the previous element, and then that's the element within it. So if you think of it from a flat perspective, you know, if that was flat packed, that would be the next one down. So yeah, just have to wait for all this to work through. So what I want to do today is just I want to ensure that these are what they say they do, right? These tests, and I also want to test the getting the possible answers and the correct answer. I want to get write tests for those as well. Basically, slow and steady stuff today. To be honest, I know that I've been working on this for ages, so you know, I'm in no massive rush to get this out the door. God, this is taking a while, isn't it? It's the node. It's the node. It's taking ages. That's why. So whilst that goes through, I think we can possibly think of getting the possible answers out. So the possible answers here would be would start from there and end here. So we want to make sure that we have 3 LIs, and we want to make sure that the values are 3, 4, and 5. That's kind of crucial. And then when we get to checking the answer, we want to make sure that we have a paragraph block that is within details that has 5, which is one of those. That would be a decent test, I think. And then once that's done, then what we can do is start building the Symfony console command that will extract, which will read all the markdown files, use parsedown to convert the markdown files into HTML, and then run it through these the question parser routines. And then, of course, the final goal is to actually have these specific sections and values to actually be stored in the database. So at the minute, I'm just working on the code to extract the portions of this HTML document. But the markdown file, the representation of this is, if I go to config, fixtures, and if I go to quizzes, let's do this one. Let's load that up. Is that going to load up? Yeah. So this is it. This is the markdown file. So you got 3, 4, and 5, and then this is the answer. So it's using the details block to do a show and hide, and this is the markdown. So we'll have an eventual integration test which will just give the whole thing a markdown file and then do the whole process and then extract the various parts of it. I know that this is a lot of work to do this, and I know that we've already got ways to create fixtures for these quizzes. But I think they're terribly inefficient because they are just PHP files, and it's like PHP files that require other PHP files. It's not very user-friendly. Plus, we have to deal with essentially cloning them, duplicating them for the API client, which is written in TypeScript. Ideally, what we want to do is have a single source of truth and have that single source of truth configurable by not only me but also the community. So if you wanted to create your own quiz, or if you found a typo in the quiz, or if you wanted to update the quiz to the latest stuff that I put out on Twitter, then you can do so by doing a PR. And then when you follow the convention of that, this is, you've got a H1 here for where the question starts, and then you've got a H2 for the possible answers, and then you've got these possible answers, and then you've got the answer within the details block. Once you follow that convention, you can create as many quizzes as you want, essentially. So, right, that's now running. So if we did docker ps-a, and then if I did docker exec-it going into the API container here, so if we ran that into there, if we then did a bin, we were looking for console. I might have to do a composer install, but let's just see if we can do a bin PHP unit first, and then do I think I can just get away with that. So that should come to a point and then do a var dump. There we go. So what we have is a huge array, well, with 7 items, and each item is all the items within the block up to the point of the possible answers. So if we scroll to the bottom here, the last point is this. The last text content is this, which is this, which means that the last node should be code, which it is, which means that the node previous to that should be pre, right? So if we go to the next node up, so it's this one. Yeah, we've got pre, so that's the local name. Which means that the next one up, it should be a p tag with another example. So another example, yep, and it's a p tag. Yeah. So that's cool. So I'm happy with that. Let's go to the actual. We're in the test, so we don't need that anymore. I should say there are some failing tests at the minute for things that are outside of the scope of what I want to do today. So I think what I'm going to do today is just we'll mark these as skipped. So let's go to the test generator of the question generator quiz test. So this thing here. Let's see if we can mark these as skipped for a second. So we'll do this mark as skipped. So not in current scope, because I want to keep running these to the point where they're passing. So that's only the one that's skipped. It's a problem with the way in which we're generating the ID from the file. It's fine. I will fix that. So in fact, not in scope, but needs fixing before merge. Right. So let's run the test again. They should now all pass, which they do, apart from this one that's skipped, but that's fine. That's good. So we got 100% coverage there. Oh, well, not coverage, 100% passing. I shouldn't say coverage. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with the way in which this extracts the question. Now we need to extract the answer and the possible answers. So we're going to just change a couple of things here. We're going to do a little bit of refactoring before we do that, because question parser test is probably not the right way to call this. It's more of an extraction. So because we're not parsing anything really, we're going to call this question extract. Question extract. Extractor test. And I think what we'll do is we will change this as well to be instead of parser, I think we're going to question parser. I think we need to do extractor. So where we've got parser here, I think. So where we've got parser here, which is in here. So we've got src. If we go into Markdown, we've got parser. That's the file that we're playing with. I think this needs to be extractor, right? Because we're extracting from the document. So maybe what we should do, maybe we keep it in parser, but we call this document extractor. Because it's extracting parts of it. Extractor. That feels better. And again, here we'll do, we'll call this document extractor. And document extractor here. Document extractor there. And document extractor there. Right, before we move on, let's just run those tests again, make sure that they are all good, doing the things that they need to do. So this is a question extractor test. So let's get rid of that one. And I'm going to copy this, and we're going to paste it into there, and we'll call this possible answer extractor test. So this is now going to try and extract the possible answers. So we give it the DOM document, the document as we've done before, which is fine. We should probably extend it and use a single document, but for now, let's just worry about this before we go too heavy with the refactoring. I'm just going to remove all the tests apart from one, and let's just change this to be test. What do we want to try and do? We want to make sure that we get the possible answers heading, right? So we want to test possible answer heading value, and the heading value should be possible answers. Now, have I done it in camel in? No, I haven't. In type case, so answers like this. So we're gonna just say nodes is get. This should now be get possible answer nodes, right? So we're looking for the first node. So if I've done this right, it should just pull that out. So if we ran that again, yes, it has. Now if I was to change that to something like this and ran that, that should fail, which it does. So we can see that we're pulling out possible answers from this document. So yeah, it is working. It is working. We also want to make sure that we have the actual node name, and I'm going to keep the convention as to what we had with this one. So that's test heading value. This is test heading element. So in fact, we can we can just say test heading value and test heading element. There we go. So that needs to be a H2, and this is now looking for the node name, I believe. So let's run that. That should pass. Yes, it does. Sweet. Let's change that to be a H1. This should say that it should be running a H2. There we go. Yeah. So that's all good. That's all good. So now we've been able to extract this. We need to then go through and extract these. Now, like I said, this is going to be a node. That's going to be one node. That's going to be a node within it, I think. To try that out, I'm going to just grab that, and we're going to say test possible answer. Let's do test first possible answer. So we get possible answer nodes, and I'm just gonna do a var dump of nodes here, and we're just gonna kill it out because I just want to see what they look like. Right. So, okay. we have, they look like this, right? So we've got an LI. That's 5. So that would be 4, and that would be an LI. And then we would have the 3. But where does we do we get to the point of the UL? So we're still an LI. That's fine. Right. Ah, I see. Right. We're in a nested loop. Right. So that 2 is LI. So I think what it's done is it said, yeah, I think what it's gone and done. God, I don't know if you can hear that rain. It's mad. So there's the UL. Yeah, so we've got 1 here. That's the possible answers, so we've gone too far. So if we did, if we brought this back to, yeah, if we did 1, right? So if we're getting the first element of 1, run that. That's the first element of 1. So we've got our UL. So, yeah. So let's get 2. Whoops. Let's get 2. This should be a nested array, I think. Because no, it's not. Okay. Li. Oh no, because it flattens it. Of course. Sorry. Ugh. Yes, because if we look here, that would be. So that would be 0. That would be 1. That would be 2. That would be 3. That would be 4. So number 4 should be 5, right? So if we did 4 like that, there we go. Okay, which means then we can say anything between possible answers and UL is yeah, because I don't think we'll have a p tag there. I mean, if it's just multiple choice, this should be fine. Because we could say it's anything from 3. So 0, 1, 2. So anything from 2 onwards would be the possible answers. So in that case, we could break this out. So get possible answer nodes. The first 2 nodes are going to be the first node is going to be the H2. Then we've got the next node, which is the UL, and it's the node after that. That is the the LI. Sorry. So right. So the first one. Let's do the first one. First one is 3. Okay. So first one is 3, and it's actually that, isn't it? 3. So that the first possible answer should be that, because it's kind of that but with 3. Okay. So we want to get 2. Is that right? I think that might be right. Let's try that. Wow, the rain is hammering the window. No. That's node name. We want node value. Yes, that is correct. So anything from 2. So I'm thinking that maybe we need to split this out a little bit more, make this a little bit more, so where we got possible answer nodes. Wow, the rain is really hammering. Can I see that on the... Yeah, I'm picking that up on the microphone. That's mad. I don't want to close the window. I've got it on a latch. There's no water coming through, which is great, but it's so hot in this office. So yeah, that's cool. But I think we can do better. I really do. We would have to remember each time that we have 2 as the starting point, which is kind of sucky. Let's just try possible answer value, right? That's one test. The next test we're going to do first possible answer element. That should be our li. So that would be our node name, as we saw just a minute ago. Li, L1. Well, whoops, Li. We'll also deal with the last one as well, and we'll do this dynamically. So again, we'll grab these 2, and we'll copy that. So that will be last possible answer. Last possible answer. To get the last possible answers, what we need to do is count the nodes and get the last one. So we need to do count is equal to count of nodes minus 1. So let's do last index. I mean, I could just do end, but whatever. This is fine. So the last one should be 5. And again, we'll do this down here. And the last index here should also be an li. Right, let's run this. That is correct. If I was to change that to 4, that would complain, because it's actually 5. Yeah, so there we go. Okay, so those tests are working okay. Let's see if we can now pull out the possible or the correct answer. That would probably be a good start. Let me see. It's probably best if we so we do correct answer extractor test. So again, we supply the document, and I'm going to just kill. I'll just kill these 2. No, I'll just keep them in. I'll just update them as I go. So this one here is to get the heading value of the answer, but there isn't a heading value. There's a summary. But I'm not really interested in that. It's more about this. And I've got to be careful, because this could be anything. This could be a block of code. This could be all sorts of. This could be a paragraph of anything. It doesn't have to be this. If we were to look at have a look at this and go into this view, the answer is actually covered up. So if I was to do that, you just see answer 5, but this could well be a code block. This is just, obviously this question doesn't make any sense. I'm just using this as an example. So we've got to be careful. We can't just look for the PHP. That's what I'm trying to say. We need to look for anything after the summary, because this here is the thing you click on to then open up this. It opens up the next one down. So this, so for example, I'll give you an example. If this here was to be code, say for this, for instance, can I do that? I don't think I can. It would need to be in HTML blocks. But let's say that this was a div, right? And let's say that this was a pre-tag, and let's say then that this was a code tag, right? So that was code and a pre-tag. No. So it was like that. And then let's say that this was just this in here, like so, and we would need to make this slightly different because we need to pass this in. It would be, I could have just copied this, couldn't I? Could have just copied that. Let's go to here and then put that in there. Right, so answer, you've got the code block, you see? So what I'm trying to say is that it's anything that is under the summary. Now I don't know if I want to get too tight and say that this needs to be, need to have a specific ID. I was going to go down that road with these things. If I can not do that, then that would be ideal. I might just pull it out as a div. I don't know. I might say that everything needs to be in a div. Yeah. All right. So let's do that. Let's make that decision. Let's make that decision. So that would be a div. Because there needs to be something that is common across all answers that is the same for me to pull out. So it's going to be the first div. So with that being said, that's question extractor. That's the wrong thing. I'll have to backfill all of this, won't I? So we'll just copy that. This is why I need to have a single example, and we will once we've got this all sorted and lined up, we'll do some clever work to use this as use a single document for all the tests, and we'll probably put this document as an actual HTML document somewhere that the tests can pick up. But for now, let's just keep running this and just make sure that I haven't screwed anything up. Yep, that's fine. So we want to get to the correct answer. It doesn't have a heading. I am going to remove all of this stuff because I think this is going a bit too far. We want to pull out. Essentially, we want to pull this out. Right? We want to pull that out. So we want to make sure that the node value, or the node name. Let's see the node name first. Is a p tag, because we want to target this. So we want to do get correct answer nodes, and we're looking for probably the second one rather than the first one, because the first one would be the first one would be details, second would be summary, and the third one would be div. So we will probably look for that. Let's give that a go. I don't know if this is going to work. I haven't done any tests for the answers yet. Let's just change that before we do that. So this should be test answer element rather than value. So let's give that a go. Nope, it's failed. It is a div, obviously. Huh. I think it's that. So let's go for the next one. Let's just see. That's 3. So that'd be 0, 1. Oh, 2. Huh. 3. I forgot the B tag. So that would be 3. Yeah, there we go. Let's check the value is correct as well. So this should be test answer value. So the value here should be answer strong 5. I don't know how that will interfere putting in a HTML within that, but let's just give that a go. No, it's failed. It's failed because it's expecting. This is the actual one here, and this is what we've given it. So I don't know if we can copy all of that, to be honest. We could do something like a trim just to bring it down. There we go. Okay, so it's a little bit clunky because we have to remember the number in which these things end on. But for unit testing, this is fine, I think. I think what I'm going to do now is build this as a single source of truth rather than have this in all the tests. So if we were to create like a file, a folder in here, let's do, or let's just do it in conf. Can we do it in config? I don't know. Data fixtures, quizzes. No, we can't really do it on there. Is there? I suppose we should keep it close to the tests. I guess we could call this test fixtures, like that, and then we can create a HTML document. So we'll do example. Example don.html, and we will, well, it's call it what it is. It's an example of a question, so it's a question example. So just question. And then what we can do is grab this here and put that, take that out. Put that into our example file here, right? And then what we can do is we can run a setup routine to pull that out. So we'll do public function. I think, is it? No. Setup. Is that it? Setup. Yes, it is. So this here, we can do a we can grab that file. So we can do this document is equal to the return of that file. Now, how do we do that? We need to get file contents. So file, get contents. So that needs to be the path to the file. So file path. I'll sort that out in a minute. Cool. So, okay, this needs to be, I've totally forgotten how to do this, but it would need to be something like coming out of this directory, so out of the parser. Oops, and I've gone and messed that up already. So out of there, well, be the current path, out of there, and then into, so we probably need dir name, I think. Let me, how have I done this before? I'm sure I've done this before. My mind's gone blank. My mind has gone very blank. How have I done this? Yes, require dir name, current directory. There we go. Sorry, my brain is going blank today. So there we go. Right, current directory. We want to come out of the current directory being here, and here. So we're coming out of there, and we want to go into test fixtures. So we come out of the directory, and we want to go into test fixtures. The fact that this isn't coming up proves that this is already wrong. Test. This is not good. Test fixtures. And we're looking for question.html. Right, can't find that directory in Markdown. Ah, we're in Markdown. Are we in Markdown, are we? I thought we were in Parser. I thought we were in Parser. Oh, it's capital T. Still can't find it. Test fixtures. Test fixtures. I have spelt that right, haven't I? Yeah. How strange, it can't find it. We've come out of Parser. Do I need to do that maybe? No. No, we do need to do that. Let me just see how I've done it with the with this a second. Yes, it is that, and then that, and then the file path. Huh. So it's that, and then the file path. It's saying that we're in Markdown. Well, we would be in Markdown because we've just done that. So that would be correct. And then outside of Markdown, so we've got, so it's actually inside of Markdown, isn't it? So that would work, right? Am I just not reading that right? Let's give it a go. No, I obviously am not reading that right. Require tests unit src markdown. That shouldn't even be, that shouldn't exist, should it? There we go. Get there in the end. Is it because I'm in the, no. Interesting. I would have thought we were in Parser. That's what's throwing me. I would have thought we were in here, right? Anyway, so this is running, but we've got a problem with something. Failed to, yeah, no such directory. No such file or directory. Question.html. Question.html. I swear we were in a different directory here. I swear we're in, this is extractor test. So we're in here. And we want to come out of there. And we want to go into test fixtures. So we want to come out of you and go into test fixtures. Why do you think that we are in Markdown directory? How very strange. Let me just run it with this and just see if it's my IDE that's failing. No, it's not. So here we're saying failed to open stream, no such file or directory. And we come to here and we don't get that error, but we do get this failed to open stream, no such file or directory. I'm obviously not seeing what's right, what I need to do here. This should be fairly straightforward. Let's just try it from here. So we're saying that we're in Markdown. Let's just run that again, just so I've got a clean run. So we're saying we're here. right? So we do cd into there. Okay, cool. So we do an ls. So we've got the parser and we've got the test fixtures. You're in the current directory. It says that we are in Markdown, but we're not. We're actually in parser. For some reason, it's my IDE is thinking that we're in the wrong directory. If I was to say that this was parser, right, that would work, but it looks that doesn't look right. No. Oh wait, hang on a minute. This is an exact question. Okay. Right, let me set this up for the rest of them. So it's in parser. Yeah, let me set this up for the rest of them. So it's that. And in fact, let's just no, that's fine. What's going wrong there? Yeah, so that's done. This one needs to be doing, and then once that's done, I'll create an abstract class or something that will have this routine in there. Let me just right. So they now all have access to this question. Yeah. So when we run this, as I've just done, I'll do it again. You can see that it is actually finding up here some of the bits, some of the things. So it's printing it out. However, on correct answer extractor test, on test answer element, we're seeing this failed to open stream no such file or directory. So this is so that's correct answer extractor, possible answer extractor. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of them. 12. Failed to open stream no such file or directory. So let's pick on the first one. I don't get why it's printing it out. Because file get contents should just return the string unless this is returning false. I mean, we could change this to be before, maybe. Maybe not. I guess what we could do is they're all failing on the same thing, and yet we're outputting the stuff. I don't understand why why this is outputting all the stuff. Unless, yeah, I mean, there's an error there. Definitely an error there. It's always on line 15, so which is here. So there's a problem with file get contents. So I'm going to just Google this for a second and just see what, because it's weird, because it's obviously getting something. So file is here. File include path. Right. File get contents. Use a complete path. Even if the web server is running as your user, it might not have the same environment. Fine. I think finding the file works. Now I'm getting the permission denied error. So there could be that. Although it's not saying, it's saying that no such file can actually be found. I suppose what we could do is actually hard code it, right? It's like give an actual hard link. So we've got on here, we've got ls, we go into tests. Let's try that. Then we've got unit, and then we've got src, and then we've got markdown, and then we've got test fixtures. So if we did a pwd here and we grab that as the actual hardcore link, and so there's no need for this stuff. It's just a hard link. That might get around it, maybe. So it's test fixtures, and then that would be question.html. So I'll just put this in all the others as well, just to run it. And I mean, this is an example of where we need to actually have this as a commonality within the three. So let's run that. Oh, I need to obviously, oops, come out of all of this. HTML, and then do a PHP unit. Okay, so that works. So it's definitely a problem with the path. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, yes, just tests today. Working through some changes that I've made for the code quiz. I was up very early this morning. Thank you for asking, Abel. So yeah, I was up very early this morning working on a way to extract the contents from a HTML document, which will eventually be extracted from parsedown, from a markdown file using parsedown. But at the minute, I'm just trying to extract the various parts of that document. So we've got the questions document here, which will be the part, which will be a representation of a code quiz. So you got the answer, you've got possible answers, and then you've got the question itself, which is this. Obviously, this isn't an actual thing, right? This is just me trying to explore the idea of extracting certain parts. So then we've got the extractor, which will extract this to be the question, this to be the possible answers, and then this to be the correct answer. Or using the DOM document, using this nifty little routine that I wrote too early in the morning to do, to pull out the various bits and pieces and build up the question and build up the possible answers and build up the correct answer, build up the nodes. And then the tests are testing that the nodes have the correct values and the correct elements. So I mean, apart from the fact that we're using the same thing all the time, I mean, one could say, why don't you just create this as a trait, maybe, to pull that file, and that means that you only have to do that once. But I'm thinking, because it's only one method, I'm just going to keep it as is. I think if there was any other method that I needed to use from our tests, then I would probably look to creating an abstract class or something, another class that just has this routine in it. The fact that this routine is duplicated in these three things isn't actually a massive problem, to be honest. Not really. So yeah, I'm happy with the way we're moving on. So we've got our question extractor, we've got our possible answer extractor, and our correct answer extractor. And what have we just done on the correct answer? We're making sure that we have a p tag, and we're making sure that the answer is 5 there. Let me just check my... Sorry, I've just seen something ping up on my phone. Give me a second. Okay. So yeah, I mean, where do we go from here? What do we do? Where do we go? I think I'm going to just take a quick short break. I need to get a drink, and then what we'll do is we will. I might take a look at that failing test that was failing beforehand. See if we can get that running, because it would be nice to, this skipped test. It would be nice to get that test fixed. Or just investigate why I have had to skip it, because I can't remember what that test was doing. So yeah, after I'll just go on a quick little break for a few minutes, and then I'll be back. So yeah, I will leave that in. I'll see you guys in a minute. Okay. So yeah, we're going to look at this failing test here. I suppose what we should do is let's just come out of the container. We should probably just commit where we're at. So these are changes to the various stuff here. That seems okay, and we've just changed that to the extra. Okay, so that looks all good. What are we on? 157. Say adding tests, that'll do. Okay, let's push that up. Right. Okay. So we've got that failing test. Let's get into the container a sec. And we'll do the bin PHP unit test here. So we've got that skip test. Let's see if we can fix it. That would be here, I believe, right? Yeah, mark skipped. So let's get rid of that and run the test and see why it fails. Okay. So error, call to undefined method, quiz question generator, generate ID from file path. So we have that problem there. It's failing on this file. Something's wrong on line 32 of the question generator. So let's just see what this test is trying to do. Test generator. It doesn't really say much, does it? Test generator. So here we've got some fixtures. We've got a fetcher mock that we've created. It is a quiz fetcher, not a question. I am working on questions here, so why am I working on that? That's very weird. We then do a fetcher. We say that there needs to be a fetch call once, and we pass in the source, which is this, and we're looking for these two apparently, and we're calling quiz generator, which doesn't make any sense either. So I'm guessing this is a copy and paste fail going on here, and we're looking for these particular things: ID and name. CSS quiz is get ID 1. Okay. So this doesn't actually make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. I think what this is trying to do, because we got the question fetcher test here, and the question fetcher test is trying to look for that within here. And this is passing. So what we do is question fetcher, fetch this, and we're saying that it must contain that. So this path here is in config fixtures quizzes hang on a minute. No, that doesn't make any sense either. Config fixtures, config. Oh, no, it's not that, is it? It's this up here. Config fixtures quizzes, one CSS quiz, and we're saying that it must contain this file. So that makes sense. So the generator, I think I know what's going on with the generator. The generator then is saying, okay, we've now got that file. We want to generate the ID. Yeah, we want to generate the ID, but we want to do it from the questions perspective, not the quiz perspective. This is all the quiz stuff. All right, so let's just work back from this. So we want the we want quiz ID, which is 1. We want question ID as well. Oops. Which is 1. That's the code. We want the padding properties, and then we have this one. Well, quiz ID is 1. That should be 2. Have I done that right? Yeah, that should be 2. That should be 1. That should be a question ID. And that question ID should be 2. And then we'll just copy the third one in as well. So this would be 1, 3, 1, 3, and the title there would be text font. Good for question 3. So that's what we were trying to generate. This is what we're trying to generate here. So what we need to do is say that we want the question fetcher, not the question, not the quiz fetcher, the question fetcher, question fetcher, and we want to say that we want to run fetch. We want to run fetch. Now that fetch routine will run this, and it will return the file names of all the things apart from index.md within the folder path. So if we give the folder path, so expects with the source, so the folder path needs to be this. It needs to be it needs to be this. So that's the folder path that we supply, and the fetching routine should return this, and two. What was two? What was the second one? It should return that. Which is this one here. And it should also return this one as well. Oops. So once we have that, I can't seem to get my tabbing right there. Oh, it's because I've got a space there. Ugh, no. There we go. Right, so now we run generate, and what we want to do is we want to return this array, which we do. So let's do this should be question 1, right? So that's question 1, which is dataset 0, which is that. We want to make sure that the ID is 1. So that we're checking that they have the key. Let's get rid of that. So there we go. We want to make sure that we have 1. So if we do question 1, get ID, make sure that that's returning an array. What does that return? An array of on process ID datasets is returning a new question. Right, so that's where the failure is, but we'll deal with that in a second. Let's just get this test shaped up. We're also saying that with 1, we also have the quiz. So if we do question 1, we get quiz ID. That should also be 1. That will probably fail anyway. What else do we want? We want to make sure that we get the title as well. So we do question 1, get title, and the title should be padding properties, and it should be cleaned. It should be this with a capital P, like that. And we won't worry about anything else. In fact, we will probably need to split this out into 3 separate tests for doing these 3 separate things, but let's just worry about this for a minute. So that's how this is how this should work. Right. Let me yeah, I'll worry about refactoring in a minute. Let's just get the test to pass first. So let's do a PHP unit run. It's going to fail again, and it's this generate ID from file path that is failing, and that's failing in here. So in here. So what we're doing is we're loading up the source. We're fetching all of the file paths within this source, and then what we're doing is we're processing all those file paths by supplying all the arrays, the array of all the files, and then we're looping over the array and we're extracting various things. So here we've got generate ID from file path. That should return the 1. we should also have another routine to generate the quiz ID as well. I guess what we could do is we could write a test for this. This is obviously failing because I guess this doesn't exist yet. No, it doesn't exist. So let's let us first let's do this. Let's do this. Mark as skipped. So let's just say not now or something. We'll write another test specifically for getting the for extracting that ID. So we want to do a public function, and we want to give a test get ID from file path, and we're going to say that this is get quest. We're going to be explicit. We're going to say question ID from. We're going to be specific, I should say. Test get question ID from file path. Like that. All right. Okay, so we're going to instantiate a new quiz generator. Like that. But this time we're going to do a we're going to mock this out. But we'll do it in a way that is just so basic. So we'll do fetch a mock is equal to this, create mock, and we'll just do fetcher interface class. There we go. Because we don't care about that at the minute. What we do care about though is this. So we do ID is equal to this. Sorry, no, quiz generator. Let's just call this generator. Generator ID, let's do question ID, and we want to run this routine, and we want to path supply the path, and the path is going to be one of the paths up here, right? So it's just going to be this one, for instance. So there we go. So that ID should be 1. So we should be able to do a self assert same 1 with question ID. Now this is obviously going to fail because this doesn't exist yet. So we need to write a routine to extract that from there. We should also create, well, yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll also create a routine to extract the quiz ID, question ID, quiz ID, quiz ID. Yeah. Let's screw this. Screw with this a bit, because 1 and 1 it isn't that much of a difficult test. Let's do 1 and 2, right? Because actually 1 is the first number is the quiz ID. The second number is the question ID. So this it should actually be 2. All right, let's run this test. We'll have that one skipped and this one will fail. There we go. Call to undefined method get question ID from file path. So let's jump into there, into here, and we need to create a public routine, a public function, which is get question ID from file path. Boom, boom. It's going to return an integer, and it's going to be supplied by the path, which is the string. So we'll do file path here. And then what we need to do is create a routine that, so we need to return something. Let's just return 0. So let's just run that. That'll fail. Yeah, so 0 is identical to 2. So we supply that file path, which is this one, in. Let's just get rid of that so I can see a bit more. Into here, and we essentially want to extract the second number. the second number. So there's a lot of ways we could do this, of course. One way is to say, right, if they're always going to be in that sort of format, so we've got underscores, we could do an explode and explode this to get the underscores out and then get this one. That's probably the safest option. So let's try that. So let's do file name parts is equal to an explode of we need to pass in the separator, which is going to be that the string that we want to return. Whoops. Its apply, sorry, is the file path. So that's the file path. And then what we're doing is we're saying, well, we want to return file parts. And if you think that is going to be, it's going to be split by that. So that will be 0, and that will be 1, right? So we're looking for we're looking for 1, I think. Let's try that. 1. Let's give that a go. And it's passed. However, this isn't a great test, because what we're saying is, well, what happens if that file name is wrong? Then you know, what happens if that's not the case? Let's just say that we want to run another test and say that that is 20, right? That should be 20. Let's run it again. Oh, let's change this. Get question ID from file path with double digits. That should be correct. Yep, that should be good. Okay, so that's just saying, okay, we want to get 20 out of here. But what happens if we get the wrong thing, right? So what happens if we supply something that is just totally incorrect, like this, for instance, or like that, right? With incorrect value. So what do we return here? If we ran that, it's going to go bang. We're saying the value must be a string, right? But sorry, must be an integer, but a string is returned. Why are we returning a string? Well, we're returning that, which is going to crash the system. So what we need to do is some form of check in here to say, you know, it must be an integer. So we could do if file path parts, sorry, if file parts 1, and we need to work out what we're going to return. So we're going to return probably null if that happens. Or we could be clever and say we're going to return false. Like that. So it's going to be false if we can't get it. Oh, we need to actually, so if isn't set that, then we return. Let's work on that first, right? So instead of saying with no value, so let's just say that we want to do that. Someone commits some code with that in mind. This needs to return false. So failed asserting that false is identical to 20. So we need to do assert. So this is just being a bit defensive. Assert false. The question ID is false. So let's run that again. That should pass. Brilliant stuff. Okay, so what happens now if this does get returned, but the second ID is a string rather than let's do with no ID value, with incorrect value type. So let's say that this is now going to be 2, right, rather than the number 2. So if we run that, that will still return a string, but it's saying must be the string is returned. So we don't want that. We don't want the string to be returned. We want it to return false. So we need to come back to here and say if is can we do number or can we is numeric? There we go. If isn't numeric, file parts 1, then we return false. And let's get that on there. What's going on here? Oh yeah. Cool. So we're just being a little bit defensive around all of this stuff. And we could probably match these up, but I'm going to just leave them as is for a second. Right, let's just run that. So hopefully this will pass. Yes, it does. Sweet. Okay, so we're extracting, we're cooking on gas, we're extracting the ID. I'm going to probably create this as a separate test file because they're getting quite big here. So let's just, where does this live? It lives in generator test. Let's, I tell you what, let's rename this to be question ID generator test. Yeah, that's fine. And we will get rid of this one here. Well, we probably need to keep that. Let's just grab that and paste that into where are we living in here? Markdown. Let's just say that that is just the question generator again. Yeah. And let's say that we are, let's get rid of this for a sec. Let's just get rid of all the stuff that we've just put into this file because we don't need this. That way we can make this a little bit more specific. So we've got, get rid of that. Question ID generator test. There we go. Get rid of this from here. Okay, so test get question ID from file path. In fact, we can probably get that from file path out. So test get question ID. Test get question ID with double digits. Test question ID with no ID value. Okay, test question ID with incorrect value type. Cool. Okay, that's good. I think that covers those parts of that. So if we go back to here and we now have the extraction of get ID, right? So that's that done. We need to do the same for quiz. Really, we need to do the same for quiz. So we will copy this. This is where it gets a little bit messy because we're using question and we were trying to extract the quiz ID, but so this technically would be question quiz ID generator, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Okay. Again, let's play with this. So we'll use the same bits and pieces, but that should now be 1. This should be what's this with double digits? So that should be 10 or yeah, let's do 10. And then this here should be with no ID value. So let's just do foo. And and this one here is with incorrect value type, so that is going to be 1 and then 2. Right, okay, let's also tidy this up a bit. So this is going to be, let's just call this ID. Yeah, let's just call that ID in all of these. It's not many. And also let's change this from get quiz generator ID, this should be quiz ID. Obviously it doesn't exist, but that's fine. Right, so let's run all these things. Let's bring that down to there we go, boom boom. Right, again we got a bunch of failures. The method doesn't exist, so let's go ahead and create it. So it's going to be fairly similar to this. In fact, you could probably argue that we might as well just use this and then just change the pointer, really, to be honest. We could do that. Let's do that. That makes sense. So instead of get question ID, we should do get ID from file path, and we should do a pass in some form of switch to say if it's going to be a quiz or a question. So we could do an is, well, it's going to have to be optional. So let's do that. Is quiz, or yeah, is quiz. And we'll say that this is false. In fact, let's do is question, because the question is actually technically the second one. Is question. And then we can have a little routine here to say if well, we can have index is equal to is question. So if is question, then the question is going to be actually no, I've got that wrong, haven't I? It's quiz first and then question. So is quiz. Is quiz. So if is quiz, then the index of the quiz is going to be 0. Else it's going to be 1. And we can pass that into here as these things in there. Right. Okay. So we grab that, go into the tests, which is that one and the other one. So let's just do, this is quiz. So we don't need to supply anything. We don't, because it's optional. And by default, that's on. So we just make sure that we've got 4 errors there. Let's see if we've got any more. No, that's fine. Okay, that's cool. So now we go to the question ID, and we say that this is, let me go back to here. That should be a Boolean. There we go. So we go back to here. So this is now question. So this is the second one. So we do is quiz is false. So is quiz is false because we're looking for the question, not the quiz. So is, hang on a minute, are we? What are we doing? Hang on, I've confused myself. That's not correct. Quiz. Wait, that default is wrong, isn't it? That should be true. Yeah. So quiz is the first number, and then question is the second number. So by default, it should be is quiz should be 0. That is correct. So, yeah, all right. So here we do we're getting question, get question. So here we do is quiz false. So this should be false again, and we put that in here. Put that in there. Supply that as false. That's in there, and supply that as false. Right, so fingers crossed this will pass, hopefully. Yes, good. Woohoo, that's great. A bit of mental gymnastics there. Refactoring whilst writing tests at the same time. Shouldn't really do that, but... Okay. Right, so this is good. This is good. So we fixed that test. Then there's, of course, this big one here that we need to unskip. So we've now pulled out that the get ID and the get quiz ID should be 1 and 1 for this particular thing. But I'm going to change that to be 1 because I want to work on this one. So the quiz ID should be 1. The question ID should be 2. In fact, I might just change that to be get question ID. Although I know I'm on question, but so hang on, we need to change that question 2. Question 2, question 2, question 2. Now I don't think we've done anything for the title yet. So let's go and unskip this and then run the test, this big test, and see what happens. No. So call to undefined method, generate ID from file path. Ah, okay. So we're still running that. Oh, because I haven't hooked it up. Yes. So we've just tested the individual files, but what we need to do here is say get ID from file path. And this again needs to be the file path, and this needs to be the let's do the quiz ID first. Quiz ID. So is quiz would be true, so that's fine. We'll get the other one. So this is the question ID. So that'll be false. So that'll be the question ID now. Yeah, let's just change that to that, right? And then put that into there. Question ID. Hang on, new question. That is the question ID. Sorry, that goes in there. Do we not have the quiz ID in this? We don't. That's strange. Let's go and put that in as well. We don't have a lot of things in here, to be honest. We need to have the code. Let's do private read only int of quiz ID as well. So, and we'll do pull that down. So get quiz ID, and then we go to here and we pass the quiz ID as the second parameter into there. There we go. Right, so let's run this now. Still failing, and it's failing because of the title. So on the model get title, call to undefined method get title. We're not even supplying the title to this, which is a failure. Actually, I don't know if we need to supply the file path. I think we've already covered that. We certainly need that, and that, but I don't know about that. Let's change that to title. I mean, it's not, so go to yeah, let's go here, change that to be title, and wherever we've got title down in here, we need to get rid of it. Oh no, we don't. do we have file path though? Yeah, we do. We need to get rid of that. And we need to create the getter for the title. Okay, so if we run this now, it'll fail because the title is incorrect. Oh, hang on. Question extract contains an abstract method and therefore must be declared abstract. Forget file path. Oh, okay. I don't know where my head was at when I put that in. Maybe we need to have it. Maybe we should. Maybe we should. Yeah, maybe we should. Screw it. It's not going to hurt, is it? I mean, it's good to have, I guess. It'll be handy to debug down the road. Okay, so undefined variable title. Title is in there. We've got forget file path. Anything else that needs to be added to this class? Nope. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Question generator on line 53. 56. Let's work it from here. So line 56. Title. I see. I got it. So we need to have a title which is equal to this get title from file path, passing in file path. Right, now obviously this is going to fail because it's just going to fail, and this needs to have file path as well. I think that's right. 1, 2, 3, 3. I mean, we could use the named props, but whatever. And we could just use setters rather than inject it into the constructor, but whatever. So right, we need to build that. That's the next test that we need to do. If we ran this, it'll just go bang, which it does. Call to undefined method can't get that. So again, we're going to go back to here, which we are not. It's this one. We're going to mark this one as skipped, and what we'll do is we'll copy the ID generator, and we will paste that in as the title generator. Right, so this is now getting the title rather than the ID. Sorry, title. Like that. So this is get question title. Get question title. Well, that doesn't really apply. That applies, no value applies. Yeah, that doesn't apply. So there's these two here. All right, so we're going to say that this needs to be style override. So we'll do that. We'll say that is the title here. That's the title that we want to extract, and we've got this needs to be get title from file path. We don't supply anything else. Now obviously this is going to fail because I haven't created this yet, but that's a failing test for you. So that is going to be the correct one. This is going to fail because it doesn't have anything. So it should return false. Let's just tidy this up a bit. So get question title with no value. Good stuff. All right, so let's run the tests. They should both fail. Yep. So we need to build that in. So let's go to here and do question generator. Public function this function, it's a string. Oops, sorry. It is the file path, and it's going to return a string or false. So let's do false or string. Right. So we explode again all of this stuff. And actually this is going to be the second one in. So file name parts. So we want, oh, apologies, my dog is barking at something. It's alright, someone else is in the house. Index is equal to 2 in this case. So this is a good check to make sure that it's set. So if it isn't set, then we return false. And then we want to make sure that it is a string as well. So is string. And we also want to then just return that. Cool. Right, let's run the tests. Nope. Okay, so what have we got here? So failed asserting that two strings are identical. So the expected is this one, but we've got this one. In fact, that's incorrect. What we need to do is have a clean routine as well, one step at a time, but we will need to clean that up because we need to have that as a capital S, and that obviously has the overrides. Now I know why this is happening. It's because it's gone, oh, there's another underscore, therefore that's another part of the you know, of the thing. So that's the next one. So I guess what we could do in the title, wherever that's gone here, so that's returning, that's returning, that's returning. That needs to stop at that point. It needs to go we need to do a we need to do like a join, don't we? We need to go everything from up to the second point, stop, get rid of those. So we could, well, I mean, this is not the most efficient way of doing it, but we could do an unset where we pass in file name parts of 0, and then what's the next one? 1. We want 2, right? And then we do a title is equal to an implode of file name parts, and we're imploding. The separator needs to be passed in, so that would be pass in this array. Yeah, so the separator would be a string, would be an empty string like this, and then we would return that back. So it's not very efficient, because what we're doing is we're saying get to the second one, check if that they are if the second one doesn't exist. If it doesn't, we return false. If it's not a string, we return false. Right, remove everything up to 2, and then and then remove those, and then implode them again, bring them back together, and then we've got a string. So it's not great. So here we have this. The expected should be, if we go back to that particular test, the expected should be style override, and it should be that, to be honest. Right. So we can get round. We can get round the. We can We can get round the uppercase stuff. We can do that. That's fine. Let's do title equals uck first of title. So that will bring this into play. However, so they've got a couple S there. That's great. However, when we now have that, which we need to address. So we need to remove. We need to remove that. So we need to find the portion of string that has that. We could just get rid of the last 3 characters and have done. But we should make sure that those last 3 characters are those things. So, in this terribly inefficient method, we could, once we've imploded them back to a string, we could do a preg replace. Where the pattern would be I'm going to have to use regex tester for this. So we have this. Sorry, that. We want to, without that, and we want to check for anything that has .md in it. But of course, dot it needs to be escaped because that's a failing character. However, that does matches any character except for the line. Yeah, that's not good. Can we do that? There we go. So matches the character dot with index, literal sensitive. That's what we want. MD matches the characters and literal case sensitive. Yeah, I mean that does work. Okay, let's see if we can do just because MD. Can we do that? Your does not match any subject or string. Yeah. Let's change that back to lowercase a minute. Yeah, so it does fix that, but let's do so we want to pass in insensitive checks. So that's GMI. And yeah, we're running off of PHP 7.3. That's fine. So that's the regex that we want to run. So we want to do preg replace of that. So the pattern would be backslash dot md passing in. Can we pass in GMI on that? GMI. And then that would be that's the pattern. The replacement would be nothing, and the string that we want to check is the title, and that's going to return back the title that we then uppercase. So let's run that again. No, so okay, is it just I? Yeah, so there we go, that passed. It's not great. Not good at all, but it does the thing that we need to do. So I'm not overly precious, to be honest. It can be refactored at a later date, I'm sure. The fact that they're actually coming back with the right things is good. So style override is now coming back correctly. Wonderful, wonderful. So yes, let's go back to the that big test that I had here. Let's now unskip this and then let's run this. Okay, so padding properties should be style override. Haha. Yes, that's because we've now moving on to the next one, aren't we? So we're saying that is what we're trying to pull out. Number 1. Yeah. So that should be this one here. And there we go. That's all passed. Woo! I'm going to split this out because this is a nasty test. So we're going to just split this out into smaller little chunks of fun. Ideally, we should only be testing one thing. I'm in that camp of the test should be testing for one thing rather than for 3. I mean, I know that people do it. This is fine, whatever, but it doesn't really explain what it's testing. So in this case, we're going to say test generator test generated ID, and we're just gonna run that as the ID. So we'll just grab that, put that down into here again. Again, I'll do a proper setup. So we'll do that, and then no, sorry. Is this one? We'll get rid of this. Question 2 is that one there. That's fine. Yeah. So get generated. Where is it? Quiz or question? Question ID. Generated question ID. Generated quiz ID is this one. So we'll get rid of that one, and we'll get rid of that one. In fact, we'll copy this again. It's because this one now is the title. Generated title. Cool, and then what we'll do is we will create a mock, a setup routine to mock this out. So this is fetch a mock, so we'll do a private fetcher mock here. And we'll do a public function setup, and we'll grab this. Where do we need to do it? We probably need to do it there, to be honest. No, there. Yeah, let's do it there. So we can do this. This fetcher mock is equal to fetcher mock. Let's get rid of that for a sec. So this is this fetcher mock. Same deal with the other ones as well. So get rid of that one. And get rid of this one. There we go. Can't type today. Right, so I think the source can probably be static, to be honest. I think so. What we got here, source here, because we're not giving the source to this. So let's just do a private const, which is just source, and we'll equal that to this. And that will be, oh no, we are, damn it. So wait, hang on, we pass in the source to here and the mock. Okay, that's fine. We can still do that. That's no problem. We can do self source, and we can generate from the source. Yes, because it's a mock. Yeah, okay. Fine. So we get rid of the U. That becomes the source. That becomes the source. Get rid of that. I still want this in each one of the tests, even though these two lines are duplicated. I think it's important to, for just readability's sake. We've got the question generator and we're passing in the fetcher mock. Okay, the fetcher mock, we can have a look and find what that is. It's what's above. Then we run a generate. That is one of the things that we're testing, and we're getting the ID out of that. So yeah, I think from a readability point of view, that kind of makes sense. So again, let's just run these tests and see if they all pass. They do. Right. Cool. I am happy with that. We're not skipping anything. Everything is pretty good. Let's quickly run. Say quickly run. Let's do PHP. What else have we got in here? Bin, PHP unit. Do we have anything else? We just have PHP unit. I thought we had other things installed. I thought we had like Stan and yeah, we got Stan and CS. We should run those. But why aren't they in my bin directory? Oh, I probably just need to run it through vendor. What I'll do, we'll just come out of the container now, and we'll do a git status. There we go. That's all the things that we've done. Changes to the tests. So we'll do git commit -am, and we'll do 157, and we'll do adding tests and there we go. Push that up. Let's go and fix or see if there's anything to fix in terms of PHP CS. I'm sure there's loads, and PHP Stan as well. Oh, my back. So we should probably run vendor bin, and I'm guessing it's PHP C. Yeah, we go PHP CS. Let's run that. Boom, 2, and they can be fixed automatically using PHP CBF. So let's do that. PHP CBF. Fixed. Cool. I'm going to just bring up another terminal. Getting fed up of jumping in and out of the container. Let's do an ls. Are we in the right spot? Git add. Wally, I didn't add those, did I? Use git add to update what has been committed. Use git restore to discard. No, okay. Right, git status. Git add. Markdown. Everything in there. Git add. Git status again. There we go, and this one. Okay, right, let's get back into the container and let's run, not unit, yeah, let's run unit, fine. Let's run vendor bin PHP CS, just to double check that everything is fine. Everything is fine. Let's now run PHP Stan. PHP Stan. And let's, is it analyze? Here we go. I've got a feeling this is going to be bad, because I haven't been running this whilst I've been working, so this is going to usually be painful. "23 errors, boom." Okay. Crikey. Okay, so the generator has no return type. It's an iterable array. Trying to look for some low-hanging fruit here. Parameter 1 string or function first expects a string or nulls given. Okay, let's focus on this. We've got 23 errors, so let's see if we can whittle these down. All right, so what's this? Line 28. Yeah, here we go. Look first. Right, so this preg replace is going to return an array, a null, a string, or an array of strings. So what we need to do is say if isn't string title return false. Whenever I get to use infection PHP, when I get to run infection PHP on this, it's going to probably hit this and go, oh my word. There is so many things in here that need to be adjusted. What were we working on? We were working on the question generator, which is it's gone. Here we go. Right, line 47 now. Line 47. Get ID from file path should return an integer or false, but returns a numeric string. Oh, yes, I didn't think of that. So we should cast this as an int. Okay. Line 74, there's a few of those. Okay, line 74, parameter 1 ID of class, question, constructor expects an int, but we've got an int or false given. Oh yeah, so this is because these will return false if these can't be found. So what we should do is we should do if isn't quiz. Well, let's just have an array of required. Yeah, let's have required values is equal to no, let's not overcomplicate it straight away. Let's not do that straight away. So let's just do some if statements. So if quiz ID, or if not question ID, or if not title, then continue, because we want to continue if none of the if any of these are false. We want to continue out of this. We need to still do the content, the possible answers, and the correct answers, sure. So this will be even bigger, so that's why I'm going to have an array of required bits and pieces, but for now though that should bring it down. Let's have a look at 78, although that's changed. Let's run this again. And I'll tell you why the code is really inefficient. It's because all of these are running in a for each loop. So very inefficient how I've got this working. But for an MVP, you know, we can put in a ticket later to speed it up. For an MVP, it's okay. So here we go. This one here, quiz no, we're on question generator. Line 83 now. Method question process should return this, but returns an array of question, which it does. So I don't know why that's set like that. That should be, like I said, an int of a question. There. Give that a go. And it's probably going to cry because this is using an interface. I think this is where it's starting would get messy. I might have to break the interface. Go back to question generator here. Method of generate should return that, but returns this. Yes, I know. Yeah. So if we scroll up to this here now, that needs to return this. But it's going to fail because I think there's an interface that requires this to return a certain thing, which doesn't make any sense now that I've split this out. So question generator, yeah, method process should return this, and the reason why it should return this but returns an array int. Oh, hang on a minute. Wait. Should return but returns. Oh, am I just not doing it right? Fine. One day I'll get the hang of these things. So I thought there was an interface that I put in that forces it to have that return type, but maybe I'm wrong now, because that's actually cleared that out. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe it's these things in the generator interfaces. Yeah, okay, right. Anyway, let's move on. So this one here is the quiz generator. Let's sort that out. Quiz generator. Quills, can't spell it. What is the line that is failing on? It's failing on 20. Aha, again. Should return, but returns this. So again, this needs to be an array of int, and this is question. Oops. No. This is quiz, right? Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, it does not match the returned doc. Let's just scroll down to here. So where we've got generate, process, sorry, that should return that. Oops. But it's saying that the return type does not match the declared. So I've got a horrible feeling this is now, running off of generator interface. Generator interface has just an array. And I think this is where it's going to be painful. So we've got the quiz generator that implements the generator interface. Does the question generator implement the generator interface? It does, which is weird because that works. Oh, hang on, wait, have I just messed this up? No, you fool. You have to say that it's an array before you do that. Maybe that's alright then, because the interface is just an array, and this is actually telling you what type of array it is. So maybe that's okay. 17 errors. Let's see if we can get under 17. $15. Okay, so we're moving forward. Question and generator. This is the thing that might hurt. So here we got document extractor. Let's do that first. Document extractor. What's the line? Line 10. Okay, line 10 array. Property question has no type value specified as iterable array. Oh, well, it's it's a node. It's a node. So it's a node. It's what is it? It's whatever it's whatever this is. It's whatever this is. And this is a DOM node. There we go. Yeah. So it's that. It's an array of DOM nodes, and that would be the same. I'm gonna make this like that. I think. There we go. Yeah. So that would be the same for you, and the same for you as well. Yes. So let's run this. What we got? 15 errors. Let's see if we can get that down. Nope, still 15. That's not good. Skipping that. DOM document. Question type has no value type specified in an iterable array. Maybe we have to do this as double quotes. Oh, double thingies. I don't know. Maybe we have to do it as a proper doc block. I don't know. Let me just see if I can run that. Oh, sorry. Let me see if I can run that. Get it down to 14 maybe. It's pointless having like multiple lines just for that comment, in my opinion. $14. Yeah, okay, so we do. Okay, so that's and that one there. Right, let's bring that down. Right, 12 now. Okay, so call to function lib get errors on a separate line has no effect. Yes, it doesn't. That is a good point. There is no need for that. I could have just ran whatever. Yeah, here we go. 75. Get question nodes. Return type has no value of an iterable type array. Again, I think this is DOM node, right? So, yeah. So it's DOM node. Same deal with all of these things up here. Yeah. And I'm going to, yeah, I'll just leave it as is. No, I'm not. I'm not going to leave it. I'm going to copy this format and change the change this up. So we got 8 errors. That's great, but that needs to be at return. Whoops. Return. There we go. Right. So let's run that again. So we've got 8 errors now. So line 7 construct has parameter content with no value type supplied. Ugh. Oh, that's the question. Hang on a minute. Wait. No, that is it. It's just the question and the generator interface. Okay, let's take a look at the question then. So let's do question.php. Line 7. Construct has a parameter content, which is here. Oh, fine. Needs to be that. Oh, how do you do it in a constructor? You can't, can you? You can't put comments in a constructor like that. Oh, actually, no, you can. It's just the fact that I haven't imported that. So that should be a DOM node. Yeah. So you can. So I've never done this before. I've never used property promotion and put in comments inside the constructor. That's a very weird, but let's see if it works. So what are we got? 8. Bring that down. Still 8. Okay, maybe that didn't work. Has no parameter. Yes. Rats. So to get around this is a shame. It's a shame that PHP can't do that. To get around that, and I understand why, because you are literally breaking the code when you do that. So to get around that, we would have to do this, wouldn't we? So these in there, and we would have to yeah, we would have to grab this. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And put some comments in. It's a shame because I quite liked doing this as property promotion. And here we would need to do this. Content is equal to content. Oh, sorry, content. Yep. And then we would, is that? Yes, of course. Field with the same name already exists in the defined class. What? Yeah, well, yeah, but I need to Oh, I know what I'm doing. Sorry, that's stupid of me. There we go. Then we need to do that, and we need to do that, right? So this is going to be possible answers, and that's going to be correct answer. Possible answers, and this is going to be correct answer. Right, what's going on here? Field with the same name was already defined in the class. Yeah, because you pass that in as the constructor, and then you set it. Let me just see if this comes up with any other errors. Might do. Oh, hang on. I know exactly what I'm doing wrong. What an idiot. None of this is needed. Let's put this all back to what it was. These are comments, of course. And it's the constructor. It's the constructor's comment, not the comment of the individual. Fool. Yes, so it would be that. And it would be, and I don't know why I've got returns on here. That's stupid of me anyway. It would be this, this, and this, right? Get rid of the U. There we go. Right, let's see if that brings it down past 8. There we go. So we've got 5 now. All right, so Still in this class, line 48. Method, question, get content, return type as no. Okay, so again, this needs to be our DOM node array of. I will have I done? Yeah, it's that. Get file path is a string. Get possible answers is that. Get correct answers is that. Get title is a string. That's fine. Right, let's run this again. Anything under 5 is good. Okay, 2. So now we've got this the generator interface. Right, this could be tricky. So method app generator generator interface generate. A return type has no value type specified in the iterable array. So this is going to be very difficult because it is an array of many things. Well, 2 things, possibly. Well, you could do. I wonder if you could do unions on this, because technically that would be this would be an array of. If we go back to the question generator, it would be this. So go back to the generator interface. It would be that, right? Or it would be an array of quiz. So let's just do that quiz here. Can you do? Yes, you can. So it's also the same deal with this as well, I believe. Yeah. So it's either going to be that or that. But the thing is, I don't know if the classes that implement this need to also adopt that too. And if they do, that's going to be painful. No, that is correct. Actually, I didn't realize you could do that. That's really, really cool. So the interface could be this or this, and the interface for the quiz generator is this, and the interface for the, do I have it up here? So that's the, what's that? The quiz generator. We want question generator, which is that one. Has question. So there we go. That's fine. I'm going to run. First of all, I'll run PHP unit again just to make sure that all the tests are passing as expected. Bin PHP unit. Good. And then I'm going to run vendor bin PHP CS just to make sure that we haven't messed anything up. Yes, we have. So they can be fixed by the CBF, which is good. Good stuff. And just for shits and googles, we'll run that again. Cool. So we are in a very comfortable place at the minute, in the sense that we have all the unit tests passing, none are skipped, and we have the code formatted correctly and adhering to PHP stand's maximum level, which is very, very good. I'm going to I'm going to shoot off now because we, unfortunately, being the night it is, we have fireworks going on, and we've got 2 spaniels that are not very happy about the situation. So I'm going to go downstairs and just calm them down, chill them out, and spend the evening with the dogs. So thank you ever so much for watching. Happy coding, everyone. I will be putting this on YouTube eventually. At some point I will. I know I've been saying that for every other stream, but we'll get there. Before I do go, let's just commit the changes that I've done. Let's do git status. Let's do a git add of all the things. Otherwise, I'll come back. I'll just leave the machine and then I'll just forget that I need to actually commit the things that I said I'm going to do. Let's do git commit -am. I am rushing now because I can hear the damn fireworks going mad. What do we do? It was code formatting and PHP stan fixes. There we go. Right, git push. Right, thank you ever so much for watching. Happy coding, everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Cheers. Bye.